G'day and welcome back to Torment Thursday. Last time round we kind of let down a levy and we failed to persuade Lord Vuntgen to stop trying to witch hunt the Stitches because he's a bit of a jerk. And that's basically where we left off. Don't think there's much more to do around here. Let's alright, I guess there's a little bit around here to look at. And once that's done, we'll move on to a new zone. Wait, did we talk to Madeira? Let's talk to Mother and then Madeira, and then we'll see what we can do. We're a little impaired because we're out of might. This woman glares at the air above her head, her fingers fretting with a single bead in a long, peculiar chain of them. A low, angry muttering resolves into words as you get closer. Foolish boy, shivering at the crossroads, mazed by your choices. Go on and pick beauty, pick strength, pick pleasure, whatever that be. The particulars don't matter, boy. What matters is choosing, and that you do it. The particulars matter quite a bit, I'd say. She blinks at empty air, and then her hand steals to a metallic, many-faceted bead near the end of the chain. Ah, you would, she says, and it's you serving him. And it's serving you just as well as him. I know you, lad. Born furling you were. Born in flame, shreds as your smouldering coals steaming through the air. When you struck round, your bead first went cold, then hotter than a mother's hatred. She shakes her head and spits at her feet. Scarcely born you are, and learning quick, but you're still uncertain. All boys and girls are, until they start making choices and dealing with consequences. Until they accept the cost of being adults. I don't understand. You make it sound like no choices can possibly be the right one. All choices sting, she says, flinging a great dishwad of palms in the air, and the sweetest ones often sting the most. You're confused, but that'll change. You'll have your feet under yourself soon enough. Not all my children are as lucky. This one, she says, showing you the bead she was speaking to before you arrived. It's carved in the shape of a malformed ring. Piqua wants to escape his past. He saved a handful of shins by honest means. That is to say, it's taken him a long time, and he's too busy pissing over the options to spend it. Push him into choosing a path, lad. Do that and I'll return your call to you. Improved through my art, and stronger than when I lost it. Where can I find him? He's... Mother Tamaz trails off, closing her hand around her beads and staring into space. In Cliff's Edge. Okay. I have questions about something else. You seem interested in the airship. Why? Why? The great fool of a pilot landed on my washing, that's why. I'm down to one spare apron and a fistful of unmentionables. You mentioned you have my coal. That's not what it is. She reaches into the bag strapped to her hip. Something glitters within. This is your coal, torn from you at birth. Name it what you will, but you know what it be. It's enough to know who you are, boy, and who you think you are, and some of what you'll become. Can I have a look at it? When you finished the task I asked of you. Not before. What if I ask about someone in particular? Lord Vuntgen, aye? He's a leader of one of the slave families. Has a number of opinions, that boy. Some he shares and some he don't. But he's got 'em all the same. I'm not the one to share his secrets neither. Ruining a life is his business, not mine. I have nothing more to say about the man, but head over there and with your mind open, and I'd be happy to fill it for you. You don't seem to like him much. Can he be trusted or not? Boom. Success. She presses her lips together, eyes flickering between the distant Lord and you. Yavakai blood on his mother's side, she says at last, so low you can barely hear her. I'll not turn my back on a girl in trouble, but I've got no time for disgusting abhumans either. She shoots a poisonous glare in the Lord's direction. I'm not alone in that either. If people knew what he was, it'd be the end of his politicking, for sure and certain. Interesting. Give me a name, I'll tell you about the ones I can. Okay, so we've got a bit of dirt on Vuntkin over there. We need to find Pickwo. So let's have a look around for Pickwo. Intoxicated man. Okay. So he's drinking to not hear the voices. I think I did speak to her last week. So let's have a continue. Let's continue to look around. Dendra or her cultist. I assume I've talked to him. Okay, now. I mean, really, why can't they find the Stitcher themselves? It's not exactly hard to find. This isn't the biggest place. Okay, we'll look up here. Thugs, hawkers, beggar, townsperson. Aiden, I remember talking to you. Oh, this is a bridge to somewhere. How did I miss that? Oh, there's nothing actually there. Loss of self. You're new. This young woman clutches herself and growls, low and continuously under her breath. Pearly white light shimmers from a vial on her wrist, and her eyes are red-rimmed as if she's been crying. You've never seen her before, and yet your hands are sweating and your breath catches in your inherited chest. Shame burns in your throat, hot and sour. Your body recognizes her, even if you do not. Leave me alone, she mutters. And it's a moment before you realize she's not talking to you. You took my face, stole my family, whisper at me in my own voice. Isn't that enough? Isn't that... She breaks off when she sees you. She's in my head and she won't shut up. Talk loud. Talk over her so I can hear you. You hear a woman in your head? Yes. Now stop talking about her. It brings her forward and she clings. She whines and she won't stop. So stop talking about her. I'm not some woman. I'm you. Please let her in. What's that shining object you're holding? She flinches but reveals the vial strapped to her wrist. It glows with an inner light, and the tiny ripples within seem to cast moving shadows on her palm. I woke up one night in a building I'd never seen before, she says, soft and low. I found this beneath a pile of blackened scales. If you shake it, it makes a picture. Watch. She jiggles the vial and holds up her other hand. Indistinct shadows mimic the motion on her hand. Why are you holding on to it? Because I feel like it was mine, she blurts and grimaces, as if that word escaped without permission. At any rate, it's mine now, and I don't need a reason more than that. It's mine, I don't need a reason more than that. Why is it so important to you again? Not that it's important, it's just that I feel better holding it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's mine, there's nothing wrong with that. I want to ask about something else. I want to ask about the woman in your head. No, every time I think about her, she inches closer to me, pulls on my arm. Stop asking about her. Closer, you want to let me in. Why fight me? She growls under her breath but does not respond. Fighting only hurts you. Let it go. Okay, so I can do that, and I can try and trick her out of the vial. So I guess I will come back when I've got something more useful to say to her. Pickwo. Like, I can't do anything with that yet. They're in Cliff's Edge, so they've got to be in most of the area that we've looked at. Aha, here's Pickwo. The Mutant Boy gazes at the entrance to the chirurgical parlor, flinching at each scratch of razor metal on metal within. By your estimation, he is in his late teens, but is the size of a young, malnourished child. His arms are little more than bone wrapped in red speckled skin and raw line zigzags down his mismatched eyes and over his blade of a nose, as if pointing directly at his thin lips. He sees you looking, and bird-like muscles flex in his frail jaw. Get a good look, he says. Or maybe you want to call me some names. I hear eggshells a lot. What about lightning bolt? I get that from time to time. Don't let me stop you. Call me some names. Laugh. Do it now, because in a few minutes, I'll be the one laughing. Are you threatening me? What? He says, gaping, then waves his twig-like arms like he's trying to take flight. Look at me. I'd have to be an idiot to threaten you. That's not what I meant. I'm not going to be the butt of anyone's jokes anymore, he says. Electricity sizzles within the nearby parlor. This time he does not flinch away. Lightning flickers, trapped in his determined eyes. I have some money, alright? I'm going to use it to change myself, change everything I can. He trails off, studying you in turn. His eyes widen as he glances quickly, studying the nearby parlor. Is he the guy who could be a sign? What sort of changes are you considering? What do you care? I'm sure you have business somewhere else in the city. I don't want to be any trouble. Why'd you look at me strangely earlier? His mouth trembles as though he's wrestling with a question he doesn't want to ask. It doesn't feel good to be stared at, does it? He says at last, looking back at the parlor. He seems to be deflecting a question, but isn't clear why. He's forgotten me. Doesn't matter. His words to me then mean the same to me now. Okay, so clearly, past self had the changing god had some words with him. Mother Tamaz sent me. I want to help. Oh, she knows. Of course she knows. That means you know too. Fine. I'm scared, right? I've had this ugly face, this body, my entire life. I've saved up to change myself. My future. Maybe I can be strong enough to deal with the people who hurt me. Or maybe I can fix my face. It can do that. But then I'll still be small. Despite the anger in his voice, tears are shining at the corner of his eyes. I can only use the machines in the parlor once, understand? It's too expensive. I spent years saving up all this money, and it's not enough to fix me. Before I say anything, I want to ask you some questions. I want to know about your past. You already know everything important. I don't care about where I came from. The future is what matters. I can't help you make the best decision unless you tell me about yourself. Fine, you asked, remember. Covers his eyes and begins speaking as fast as he can. My parents came to the city with a tribe of people like me. I was born in the underbelly. My first memory is of someone spitting on me. My only friend was a girl named Crooked Queek, and we had to play in an alley so the normal kids wouldn't hurt us. When I was 12, someone killed my father in the bar, and it wasn't even investigated. Blinks hard, staring at the parlor. So I left. I haven't seen anyone from the tribe since, and they let them live off scraps in the dark. I'd rather die up here than down there. How'd you earn your money? A shin at a time, he says proudly. I went from shop to shop asking for work. Some of them kicked me out, but others let me sweep once a week or cook. I've done nearly every job in the city at least once. No one ever wanted me to stay, though. They thought I scared customers off. They were probably right. Done asking about your past, then? I want to help you decide. I can think of better uses for your money besides changing your appearance. Let's go with strength fade. Huh? Like what? Strength fades, beauty fades. Use that money to get an education at the Order of the Truth. Moderate. Critical success. I know what you're saying, but I worked hard to save my shims. Why should I give them to the Order of the Truth? Like this. They're a pack of damn fools, but some of them have a spark of sense in their heads. Besides, you pay for the Order's resources, not the company. He and I don't always agree, but he's not wrong here, and education's your best bet for a better future. The more you know. I understand, Ikra says, casting one last longing look at the parlor. I guess that's why I was hesitating. I don't want to spend all that money to temporarily fix half my problem. I'll talk to the Order. Thank you. That was pretty good of Alagan there. And then fade to black as they remove the NPC. And then weird visual glitch because that's what you get. Let's go talk to the mother. It's interesting that most of the quests I've done haven't required much movement between areas. And even when they have, they've been relatively quick movements. I mean, I'm actually kind of grateful given how slow the game runs on my system. What now, my lad? Need to talk to you about Piquo. Aye, what of him? I've solved his problem. Have you? Mother Thames' eyes unfocus, and her fingers trace the borders of the hollow bead. Mayhap you did. An education will last him a lifetime, or until his mind fails him, as it does some. I know you did what you thought was right, but I wonder if the lad will use what he learns to overthink his problems for high up. He roots about in a saddlebag hanging at her hip. Take your call, lad. You earned it. And now, lag. The game has crashed. I will be really annoyed. Nope. Okay. Off with you. You have done enough here. 25 XP and a call shield. So, let's have a look at our character sheet. And again, we really need to sleep somewhere. I need to find out how I can do that. How have I not found this out? So the game goes unresponsive because I'm telling it, hey, load up the inventory. And it does not like doing that. So the call shield is a shield. It's part of the membrane that protected us. And it's a transparent shield. It decreases difficulty on might and speed defense tasks. That seems pretty good. And it's also worth 400 shims. So, you know, that's also pretty nice. I should actually be able to equip this. Yeah, okay. And that's an asset for those tasks. That sounds pretty good to me. Bonded artifact slot. Isn't this the artifact that I had? Like I had... Did it not actually apply the artifact that I got last time? Oh, well, we'll equip this. +1 in perception. And cannot be blinded. And that, I think that's everything. Okay. So the next, then there's these various quest turbines. Yep. Next step, I think, is, well, double checking this, and then trying to find somewhere to go sleep. Medelia glittering. Hello, friend. Not a single rumble beneath my feet for hours, and I hear I have you to thank. Her eyes crinkle at the edges as she warmly welcomes. She smiles warmly at you. Now, she puts one hand on her hip and gestures to a table with the other. I hope very much it was the thought of my treasures that guided you. Which one has called you here today? Let's see what you got for sale. Those things that you seek, my friend, will not be found here amongst your things. These things, whatever. Okay, so yeah, there's not really much to do there. What the... Wait. So, I'm pretty sure that's a stored model. Not actually entirely sure, because it could not have been... could have been relatively intentional. What am I trying to say? What am I trying to do? I want to go in there, but I also want to find somewhere to rest. So what I think I will do is I think I will go... Can I brief rest? I had a thing pop up for it. Impaired... Yeah, okay. Where can I rest? Oh, we can talk to Aligon. What do you think we should do next? You say you need someone to fix the resonance chamber? Let's do that. There's a cult and circus miner that worships your type. We should find him. Forget it. Yes, let's. Okay. I think... Well, there's got to be somewhere I can go rest. Got to be, like... Is there anything... So I'm trying to pull up the map right now. Which I guess, if it were working, would be able to tell me where certain things are, but it doesn't look like it's working very well Alright, let's move over this way and let's go through a long scene transition. Just see if we can find somewhere to sleep. We're just completely out of it. Interesting. I didn't realize that. But the mouse on the monitor and the mouse on my screen, on my at least recording preview, are not in the same places. So if I've been gesturing off camera and that kind of thing, please, I hope you understand. Weirdness with recording stuff. This area again, my computer does not really like. Why is that person running, that child running backwards? I see. But this is where the circus, this is Circus Minor. So this is where we can go and talk to the cult. I didn't actually, I ran across them last week when I was just trying to run through everything. Now let's talk to Kasmine here. She looks like she might be in charge. As you approach the duo, you see that they are arguing heatedly but quietly. The petite woman turns toward you. Her hair is unusual, a light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, sir. My friend and I were having a discussion, and her eyes fall upon your tattoo, and her breath audibly catches in her throat. Her partner is an unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced, his voice sonorous, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasionally light sparks in the air as he does. He seems intent on continuing the argument, as he hasn't noticed her pause. We know about time shields. Everyone in the city does. But ask a random passerby about his lesser-known deeds, and you'll receive at best a blank stare. Watch! He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo and closes it again. His throat bulbs for a moment. It's an honor. He collects himself. If I might impose upon your time for a while, will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from the other? I'm having difficulty placing him. Could it be I need more time to question him? Others? You mean the other cast-offs? Yes, revered one. Your siblings. He bows deeply until his fingers spark with a repressed joy. You're a child of the changing god. His mind saw the world through your eyes. He gained knowledge in your body, as he's done countless times over the centuries. Yet the tattoo on your head marks you. We theorize it has a role to play in his creation of you, his cast-off shells. You're welcome here, revered ones. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions for us? What? Who are you? I am Imeon. I am one of the leaders of the cult of the changing god in Sega's Cliffs. My primary duty is as chief archivist. My colleague is Kasmine. She is responsible for the day-to-day administration of our camp. Can you tell me about the city, I guess? The city your sire built and defended? The cradle of civilization? The center of the empire of knowledge? His eyebrows rouse and his slow tone is effusive. It is among the great creations of humanity in the Ninth World. Built on the foundations laid by unknown creators, it's risen to become one of the preeminent cities on Garivia Sound. It's somewhat more diminished in these latter years, to be sure. Perhaps if the changing god were to return us to glory. Can you tell me anything more about the city? Many thousands of souls call Sega's Cliffs their home. They come here for safety, for succor. For the changing god protected them. Now you can visit the spires of Government Square where he once sat, or the places where his machines once shifted the city out of time. So your sire even faced the bloom when he was here. Your precious a shiver. But you should avoid it at all costs. There's much else to do in the city, if you want to walk in your sire's footsteps. Do you know anything about the sorrow? A monster of deepest nightmare. I've heard it wants you dead. Every one of the Holy One's creations, all dead. I don't know why, but it hates you. Okay. What can you tell me about my, sire? You mean the most accomplished inventor of our time? The hero of Sega's Cliffs? The man who dodged death itself? The Time Weaver? The man who destroyed the Tabat? Oh, we have so much to say! But perhaps we should wait for another time. You know anything about a device called a resonance chamber? Rumor and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend more knowledge of your sire's motivations passed along as fact. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is? What it does? The resonance chamber is in the reef. I need to know who can repair it. Let's go with that one. So you have seen it? You've touched it? Your tattoo, like all the others, but this one is different. Mimeon looks sharply at you now, all distraction gone. I do not recognize you. You do not match any descriptions we have recorded. She snaps her fingers as if figuring out a new mystery. Wait, tell me, let me remember your face. She studies you carefully. Oh my, you're new. Are you the changing god? Can it be? She reaches out to touch her sleeve and pulls her hand back quickly. Nope. I'm not the changing god. Elegant, his eyes flicker towards you and his mouth draws down for a moment. But he says nothing. As I thought, you're a cast-off, one of his children. He touches you with his long-fingered hand as if in consolation. There's no shame in such a thing. Many cast-offs have come to our attention, and some of us have sought to deceive us so that they might seem more important. He smiles softly. If you're as new as we suspect, it's better for you, for us, to know the truth of your existence than to bluster and lie. Casmine looks crestfallen as she touches your shoulder. Are you sure you're not? He catches her. No, why would you lie about that? With noticeable effort, she wrenches herself into optimism and chirps. But you're new, aren't you? You're new. Have you decided what you'll do, what you'll be? Your sire's other children have done amazing things. Amazing. No doubt you will as well. Mimeon lays a hand on Cass's shoulder, and his voice is low and cautionary. Cass, he looks away from you for a moment, and swallowing sudden tears, and he says, we have a request for you. He gestures towards a clock behind him. Dark figures circumambulate these clock faces. I theorize that your sire's creation of time shields that protected this city established a connection with its future selves. Given this, we believe these figures may be cast-offs, or ghosts of cast-offs, the living shells of the bodies your creator has worn previously. The clock is unmoored in time. You see, we do not have knowledge sufficient to investigate, but you might. You have a connection with he who created the clock. You should be able to align it with the present time and uncover who those figures are. If you cannot, at least you'll increase our store of knowledge. Then we can answer the questions for you. Then we can answer the questions you must have, right, Mim? I'll do it. This will be a true gift to knowledge, revered one. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed. You'll have our thanks, our boundless praise. We'll perhaps answer what we can for you then. Return to us, revered one. We will wait for you. No? Best of luck? Okay. I have another question. We struck a bargain, revered one. Yeah, I get it. I want to rest. How do I sleep in this game? I just want to sleep. Oh. This complex machine towers over you. Its purpose is unclear, but the three circular faces set into the ground remind you of clocks. Something's wrong with the machine, however. It's partially transparent, shimmering in the air when you look at it directly. The clock faces seem to show several different times at once. Humanoid silhouettes ripple beneath the clock face. One places his hand against the face as though it were a glass wall. They seem to be watching you. Examine the machine. The towering mechanism wavers in the air, similar to Callistage. It seems to be in several states at once. All of the machine states appear to be in the exact same position. You can't touch it either. Your hand passes right through the structure. As you pull your hand away, a memory strikes you as powerfully as if someone took a club to your chest. You're working at the clock. It's no longer transparent, but perfectly solid. There's a noise behind you. So they've come, the three traitors they think to surprise you, but through the powers of the clock you've foreseen this moment. There's a faintest sound of metal against sliding against leather. You slap a hand on the central clock face, activating the clock's arcane powers. You're not sure what it'll do to them, but it's better than what they'll do to you. There's a flash, arcs of energy stretch out from the clock over your shoulders to the would-be attackers. You don't see what happens to them, but they quickly disappear along with their screams. As the last shred of the memory fade, a swirling energy passes through your body. Cold barbs prick every muscle. Suddenly, tidal forces arc from your body to three other locations in the cultist encampment. The machine recognized something inside of you. Or maybe vice versa. Either way, you've inadvertently activated several nearby machines. Let's look at the silhouetted figures. Yep, you just passed through them. As mentioned there. Can I chat with you and tell you info? Nope. I mean, I just want to say, hey, I've found a thing. I guess this is one of the nearby devices. As you approach this device, Circus Minor changes around you. People are dressed differently and speak differently. Whole new structures appear, including an enormous building rising from the edge of the square. You look down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see the faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. Look more carefully at the changes around us. Circus Minor looks almost completely different. All the people are dressed strangely, and though they speak the truth, they use many terms and phrases you don't understand. The square's changed as well. All the tents are gone, the buildings are more colorful and less weathered. One building in particular rises from the edge of the square, a tower of purple rock, some 50 stories high. A mural's painted on the side, though you can't see the details from here. Does that give us... yeah, okay. Everyone's dressed strangely, all of this. If you had to guess, you'd say this is what Sega's Cliffs looked like centuries ago. Let's look at the images. As soon as you focus on them, you feel a warmth on your head where your tattoo is. The images respond to your thoughts, slowly and changing at your whim. It's something about your body that allows you to do this, which perhaps means you're the only one that can see the images. You immediately recognize the pictures as pieces of memory, and specifically the three memories you saw back in the fathoms of your mind. Now let's look at the underwater city. Actually, really need to read the Into the Deep source book that just came out for Numenera. I need to read a lot more of my Numenera books. But yeah, memory's recent. Two men, both with tattoos like your own, are in an underwater city, searching for something. The denizens of the city chase them from their quarry and ultimately surround and capture them. As you review the memory, you get a strange feeling in your mind that you can only describe as a query. The device wants something from you. Suddenly you remember, the memories in the device are possibilities, but you can lock one of the memories here, so it's the only one that displays. You don't remember what purpose that serves. So if we look closely at the changes, does it affect things? No. Lock the recent memory. Okay. Images of the two men in the underwater city are now the only images that play on the surface of this device. They search for something and are chased and then captured over and over again in an endless loop. As soon as it's locked into place, yeah, okay, so this is part of the clock. Okay, and then I suspect there will be another one over here, and there should be one, I suspect, down here. I don't know. There should be three. Three were mentioned. It just seems like they'd be in similar places. So, is this going to be the same dealio? Except this one will be like... Yep. Circus Minor. Buildings are different. People are running for their lives while armored soldiers hunt them. None of them seem to pay any attention to you. So, yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the changes around us. Circus Mine is under attack. Squads of armored soldiers roam the street, hunting and killing anyone they find. Mobs of people flee in fear, with only a few hapless souls trying and failing to fight them off. The soldiers are completely encased in jagged metal armor. You can't even tell if they're human. Looking beyond the carnage, the square in this vision looks wildly different. Many of the buildings that are on fire don't exist at all when you step away from the device, having been replaced by other structures. Look around again. Get the feeling that the city in this vision is ancient. These events could have occurred as much as 1,000 years ago. So let's go with the memory of the city under siege. Somehow you know this memory is ancient. It might have occurred 1,000 years ago. A man and a young girl raced through the streets of Sega's Cliffs. All around them the city is under attack by terrible people. The Tabat, you recall. The man takes them to an ancient machine somewhere in the city, then he and the girl disappear. Let's lock it. Images of the man and the girl are the only ones that play across the surface of this device. They run past the enemy soldiers and disappear at the machine in an endless loop. Okay. So, yeah, I think it's basically pair the memory with the device. Not going to be up there, so it's got to be down here. Oh, it's literally in the center of the cap. A strange feeling comes over you as you approach this device, as if someone was sneaking up on you in the corner of your eye. There's no one there. It feels like something's different though, but you can't put your finger on what it is. So let's have a look at the changes around us. Changes are difficult to notice at first, but after a moment you figure it out. Circus Mine is the same, but the crowd is different. Most of the people in the stalls are not the same as you've seen around here. The few that you do recognize are notably younger by many years. So it's recent past. Several years, yeah. Long time ago, probably centuries. Let's go to the ancient city here. And as you lock the third image around the device, the air around the device trembles. The other devices in the city appear to glow, and then, okay, yeah. So basically, it reset itself. So the recent memory, centuries old memory, ancient memory, done. I mean, we could also try and smash the device open. But I think this is pretty obvious. I just picked badly the first time. And so the centuries old memory. And a woman. And then we lock this one. So this is a device that only we can unlock. Or someone else of the Changing Gods' children, I guess, could potentially have done it. As soon as you lock this third image, the final surge of energy arcs through the air from the device to the clock itself. The clock shines for a moment, then becomes solid, fixed into a single state. At the same time, the device in front of you goes dark. The images disappear, as does the strange view of the city's past. Gained 3 XP! Quest updated. Alright, let's talk to Kaz. She seemed eager to tell us things before. You fixed the clock? I knew you could do it. I knew it! She shoots a triumphant smile at me, man. You must tell us what you saw. Who are those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Kaz. We must first congratulate our guest. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. You're most welcome here. Unfortunately, your task is not entirely complete. We told you our price. That decision stands. So now we can investigate that. Seeing solid now. Each of the 3 clock faces show a single time, though none of them point to any time measurement you understand. You lean closer to the central clock face. 3 shadowy figures still lurk within, their fingers almost indistinguishable now. Suddenly the figures surge out of the clock towards you. Intense pressure strikes your head like a steel spike, then everything goes black. The next scene of the game is not included in the beta content. In the final game, you'll wake up in a new fathom of the labyrinth and meet 3 cast-offs: Kamos, Diaku, and Valon. They will teach you about foci, the selection of abilities unique to your character. Since that fathom hasn't been implemented yet, you get to choose your focus here. Note you'll be able to have more than one option. Note you'll have more options in the final game. So this is actually the final part of character creation. I was wondering about that, because in Cypher System games, you are a blank who blanks, and thus far we've only picked the first 2. So we're Slick Nano right now, and I was wondering how this would work. I was wondering if basically the foci would effectively be who is cast off from the changing god, or something along those lines. But obviously that's not true. So I can actually do this. I'm going to go with who brandishes a silver tongue. Persuasion, intimidation, and leadership abilities. That's what I want this character to be. Excellent. Now return to Kasmin and Mimion. They will want to hear what happened to you. Ah, you returned to us. Sorry, wrong person. Ah, you returned to us and you have completed your task. What did you see inside the clock? Tell us, who are those figures? I met Kamose, Divitiaku, and Valon. Disappointment creases her face. I know those names. They're not new to us. They were favored servants of your creator, cast-offs who served him well. Indeed, Divitiaku brought the Order of Truth to Sega's Cliffs, but they betrayed their holy trust and disappeared. Nevertheless, we will honor the arrangement. The answers you sought answers about who might repair the resonance chamber. We know your sire built it with the aid of another cast-off. Still unknown to us. Perhaps one of your siblings might know where to find him, or her. I know of only one other cast-off in the city, the albino assassin Matkina. They call her the White Death. She wore a camouflaging cloak and brought destruction in her wake. Last I heard of her, she was in the underbelly. Seek her, but be wary. Gained 100 XP and new quest. So now I want to talk to you. I say I would like to rest here, and I can finally sleep. We'd be honored if you chose to stay with us. We do request a small donation of 20 shins to offset our cost. We must rely on donations even from our revered guests. Fine. I really need those stat points back. Boom. All the way up to full again. So I've only got the -1 training and assess threat, which is just inherent in our gear. And if we look at our stats and things, I think we can level up again to 14. Slick Nano, who brandishes a silver tongue. Every 4th achievement stat, yeah, so I can't do the tier. Character sheet, that's where I'd find that anyway. Okay. So, inability on assess threat, inability on might defense, and inability on endurance. So basically, we are particularly bad at those things. We've got various things. We've got persuasion, and I think we should be able to advance for 180 XP. So last time we increased an edge. You can only do one of these things at a time. So like here I can increase my stat pools. Or I can allow myself to use more effort. I can improve one of my abilities. Numenera Analyzer. Right. That's one of the passive abilities I got. Natural Charisma. So it gives you an edge when dealing with other ones. So this basically increases my capabilities there. I can get a new ability. but I don't really want a new ability in any of these. I can reduce armor cost and I can change focus. Improve skill. Wanted to boost a skill or get a new skill. So I could boost persuasion. Right? Can I? Yes. So there we go. Now we're specialized in persuasion. So persuasion tasks will be even easier. Sounds good to me. I think with that, I'm going to stop. And next time, we will spend some time actually wandering around and getting some of these other quests done. It's good to actually have that progress, but it's also just really good to have my stat points back so I can start doing more tests. So yeah, until next time, have a great day. Bye.